Well, my entire life, we would go out and we would work all the ground, work it all summer, and then we try to pack it back down and then plant wheat, turn cattle out on it. And we did that for as long as I can remember growing up. But what we were doing without intending to and without knowing it, we were degrading the soil. I decided that we had to do something different.
We need to protect the land. It's a resource that'll go away if we don't protect it correctly.
It is in our absolute best interest to do everything in our power to make it better. We have no incentive whatsoever to degrade this land and make this ecosystem where we live worse.
It would be a lot easier to farm for today or tomorrow, but this land is not something that I will have forever. I am just a caretaker of it on for the next generation.
The farm, it is a passion, but it is also a business. When we can make money, when we can make profit, we can do things that make us more sustainable.
My name is Tom Cannon,
Darren Chelland.
Nick Jorgensen.
Art Schulteis.
and I'm proud to be a sustainable U.S. wheat grower.
Farmers have a unique perspective of longevity and sustainability because our livelihoods depend on it. And it breeds a level of commitment to these practices over the generations.
Sustainability to me is doing things that are going to be good not only now in the near future, but long term.
In order for me to see the definition of that, I just have to shut my eyes and think about what was this place like for the thousands of years before we were here, because it was absolutely sustainable.
Wheat is an integral part of our system and has been for generations, but it's important to see it in a context of the whole system that is anchored in this crop that just naturally fits. And so as these other components have added into our agricultural system, it just empowers wheat to be an even more important cornerstone in our operation.
What we're doing these days is second nature to us. We've always cared for the land. Everybody's always cared for the land. But now we have tools available that we never had 50 years ago. All we had was tillage equipment.
No-till is where you direct seed into the soil without any tillage at all. Some of the benefits that we've seen in the last 25 years are, most importantly, the amount of carbon that we've stored in the soil, and we are fixing the water cycle. The reason we want to do that is because higher organic matter, higher carbon loads in the soil store a lot more water.
We have graphed our organic matter levels since the mid-'80s, and we can see that our organic matter levels are increasing, and also our yields are increasing.
We've tripled our organic matter, which means we have increased our ability to store water by about 75,000 gallons per acre.
One of the key parts behind our farming philosophy is utilizing minimal inputs. We don't use a ton of fertilizer. We don't put down a ton of phosphorus or nitrogen. One of the reasons we can get away with that are our soil health practices.
All of the living organisms in there live off of plant roots, alive and dead. So those microorganisms are the ones that feed the next crop. So the more of that we have in there, the healthier everything is.
Without winter wheat in our rotation, it would be really difficult for us to do some of the things we do from really even a livestock feeding perspective. So it's very important that we utilize winter wheat as our primary crop.
Cows are an important part of the system because they mimic the role of wildlife over these lands.
Watching how our native grasses work enabled me to see that there was maybe a better way to grow our crops. So my thought process has all changed. How do I get those cows back onto summer grasses here? How do I get more diversity? And how am I going to manage wheat, not from the head down, but from the roots up? To do that, we had to get more diversity, and we had to get cattle on this property at least once a year.
When we can graze livestock, we can improve soil health. And largely we can do that by increasing organic matter.
Soil should be about 50% minerals, 25% water, and 25% air. If you don't have air in the soil, your plant roots can't be healthy. In some places in the country, they manage water by irrigating and adding water to a field. We're not in that situation.
By filtering the water through the ground, we're keeping our nutrients intact and not getting the runoff on top of the ground, which keeps our nutrients in place for the crops, and we're not sending them to lakes and oceans where they shouldn't be. We need to make the land that we have the best it can be, and we feel tiling is one of the best ways to make this land better, to grow the best crops we can.
When the soil gets healthier, what we've found time and time again is that our bottom line is better. Our business performs better financially when our soil resource is treated well.
We're raising food. A long time ago, we were raising a commodity. You never knew anything about it. Now, with some of the crops that we're raising, we know we're raising food because we've met the consumer.
You know, one farmer feeds hundreds and hundreds of people. The quality of what I am selling, the quality of what is going to go into those foods is very, very important. I want it to be as pure and as healthy as possible.
We know we raise some of the best crops in the world, and our buyers know that and know we can raise a consistent, good quality crop. We need to be able to pass that on to the next generation so we continue that relationship.
We have depended on wheat for a reliable source of income now since the 30s. And the reason that wheat became so predominant is because of its ability to handle stress. Wheat is the most reliable plant that we can grow.